Welcome back to Ask the Mayor. We'll start right away, Mayor Basran, with this BMO Labour Market Report Card.
Sure.
We didn't do so well there. We did fairly well the previous one, but in this particular month, February, 32 out of 33. I guess your thoughts on that and what that means for people who may be considering moving here for work.
Yeah, so, I have a number of comments on it, so I'll try and choose my words carefully here. Finding work in the Okanagan has always been an issue, particularly when you look at our roots, traditionally in agriculture and tourism, all seasonal. Yeah. So we know that long-term employment prospects in our city have always been a concern of residents. So to get back to the survey, is it surprising? No, it's not. Is it a concern? It is. But I guess where my bigger concern lies, or frustration with the report, is that it's just looking at 1 month of data and comparing it to another month. So it's comparing the unemployment rate or the employment rate in Kelowna for January of 2016 to January of 2015, and that's it. So it's not looking at a year-long trend, what the yearly average is. It's just taking a snapshot of those 2 months. And so there could be a number of factors at play here. I'd say the biggest one is that why Kelowna has dropped down the list as significantly as it has this year compared to last, I think is the situation that's happening in Alberta right now. So we know that in the Central Okanagan there's approximately 5,000 people who consider the Okanagan their primary residence but commute to work in Alberta. And we know now that those people are losing their jobs and so as a result are now looking for work here in Kelowna.
And those numbers are felt here.
And those numbers are felt here because their primary residence is here in Kelowna, they count towards our stats and not the employment stats in Alberta. So I think that's now playing a big part of it. But I think one just needs to drive around our city to look at all the economic activity that's taking place to know that we aren't going to it's not all doom and gloom, if you will, as this report is trying to point out. Our economy is more diversified than it's ever been, with the growth of our knowledge-based economy that includes healthcare and the continued expansion of Kelowna General Hospital, with the continued growth of the UBCO, Okanagan College, and then taking into account the growth of our tech sector, which is now a $1 billion industry in the Okanagan. So our economy is more diversified probably than it's ever been. Now factor in that, and we've touched on it a couple of times now in the show, is that the Central Okanagan is one of the fastest growing areas in Canada. Well, there's got to be a reason why people are coming, and clearly employment is one of those reasons, because if there were no jobs, like this report is making it sound, no one would be moving here.
Just retirees, right?
Exactly, but it's clearly not the case because we know that the stats prove otherwise.
Yeah.
So, while it is concerning, I'm not going to get too worked up over one report when we know that, we're coming off a year in Kelowna where development permits were higher than they've ever been since the since the real estate crash of 2007. So we've had our best year since then. Yeah. When you look at, we've had a record number of business licenses in the city of Kelowna applied for. The real estate market continues to be very hot. So when you look at all of, a number of economic factors across the span of a year and not just 1 month, you get a clearer picture that there are some really good things economically happening here in Kelowna. Again, but does that mean everything's perfect? By all means, no, that's not the case. We know we have things to work on, but it's certainly not as bad as what's being portrayed in the BMO report, that's for sure.
And you mentioned there is jobs here. The unemployment rate's it's fairly low. We just don't have those types of jobs that Fort Mac has, for example, the $200,000 a year type job. Is that a concern here, that we don't have the high-paying jobs, the sunshine tax,
Sure.
The dreaded thing? I know I had to bring it up for you.
But, no, that's fair. But I think it's changing. Again, when you look at our technology industry, our healthcare industry, and the knowledge-based economy that we are starting to see grow and expand, I think that's changing. Is it going to change overnight where everybody is going to have a $100,000 a year job? No. But are we making improvements, and are we seeing improvements in that area? Absolutely we are. We're seeing more and more young families stay in the Okanagan than we've ever seen before. So, you know, there are good things happening, but there's always room for improvement. So City Council is trying to, we are big promoters of the technology industry in our city because we know it's providing good paying, clean jobs for young people in our community who then take that money and spend it in other local businesses. They give it away to social agencies doing good work in our community. So there are a number of positive spin-offs, and it's something that we're cognizant of and want to continue to try and help wherever we can. But we also need the part-time work as well for our, you know, for students. And again, we know that tourism and agriculture, we want to see continue to be pillars of our economy. And so there's going to be what I think a lot of choice for people in the job market as we continue to see our economy evolve.
And on recent news has Westcorp delaying the construction of the hotel on the downtown site, formerly the Willow. Is that a concern for you? Is it just simply a matter of they're just moving it around a few months?
No, so it's certainly not a concern. I think that anybody about to embark on a multi-million-dollar project has every right to be concerned and to make sure that what they're going to do is going to be secure and safe and it's not going to lose money for them. So while I'm disappointed, I'll be the first one to tell Westcorp that, hey, I'm disappointed, but I understand where they're coming from. So I'm not at all going to say that I believe that they're true, that they plan on building this building, and they're committed to that. But I think we need to just give them some space to be able to make sure that everything is put in place before they move forward. And so if they need more time to do that, by all means. But I think it's important to let our residents know that Westcorp is still doing everything they need to in terms of working through steps with city staff. So it's not like they've abandoned this application and no work is going on behind the scenes. They need to know that there is work going on behind the scenes to make this project move forward, and that now you won't physically see construction now until the fall. But that there are things happening and that they're doing their best to move this forward. But like I say, I think they deserve the time and the respect, given how much money they are going to be investing in our community, to be able to make sure that they have everything, all their T's crossed and I's dotted before they move forward.
Now, one project that appears that council really seems to be excited about is the Capri Mall. That's a major development there on that site. It's a little bit dated, I guess you could say the words for it. What your thoughts on that? This is ambitious.
Yeah, so we are really excited about that project for a number of different reasons. One, because it's in a town center. So for all the reasons we talked about earlier, we really want to encourage growth in our town centers for a number of different reasons that are all positive, including getting people out of their cars, walking more, riding their bikes. And so what excites us about this is here you have a piece of property not being used to its highest and best use. A lot of it is surface parking lot, and it's valuable land, but not being used to its full potential. So now we have an opportunity where we have a developer ready and willing to come forward with a project that is, again, going to be mixed use. So a place where people can work, a place where people can live, a place where people can play. And it really meets all of the criteria in terms of development that we as a city council are looking for. So this is a project that isn't going to be built overnight. It's going to be built in phases, which is going to take a number of years, and it's also dependent on the real estate market. But we're really excited about the first couple of phases, and also because it, again, includes integration of things like transit and active transportation corridors, which we think are vital to help people get around our community. So we're very excited about this project.
All right, let's talk a little bit about city finances. The budget's come out 4.12%. It's pretty significant.
Sure.
There is a couple of factors in it, the police services building, and you've got some new RCMP members. Are you hearing flack from the public about 4.12%?
Yes.
Yeah?
Of course we are.
Yeah.
Of course we are. But at the end of the day, we've also heard that our citizens expect good service and want a community that they can be proud of. And so we've known for 20, almost 30 years that we're going to need a new RCMP detachment. And so the previous council, which I was a part of, and now this one, is carrying forth that vision. So yes, the 4.12% proposed tax increase is a lot for people to handle, but everywhere I go, I'm constantly asked by people for more services. They want more services, more facilities, and we can't do those without, plain and simply, without having the funds to do that. And well, it's all well and good that, you know, previous councils can pat themselves on the back and say, we kept your taxes low, but they were also potentially ignoring infrastructure deficits that now are coming home to roost. You know, some of it being in terms of road maintenance. We can trim the budget in previous years to cut back on repaving and various other things, but as a result of that now, we're now getting more complaints than we've ever received because we have potholes in our roads and our roads are crumbling. So we can cut back on certain areas, but it's only going to be to the detriment of future councils and future residents who are now going to have to face that tax burden without maybe doing a better job of proportionalizing it and paying for things as we need them, as opposed to deferring them, and then pushing the cost, because as we know, as we move forward into the future, you know, projects, materials only get more expensive, and we're just deferring the inevitable. So this council is trying to be cognizant of, or trying to find that balance between what needs to be done now, what can maybe be put off till the future, without trying to put those councils and residents in the future with a huge burden on their back. And so yes, it's not palatable, but at the end of the day, the things we're spending money on, we've heard from the public loud and clear that they want, or we simply need, because we can't run a municipality without the infrastructure like sewer, without water, without those things that need replacing. They are just must-haves in a society, you know, in a first world country, and in a beautiful place like Kelowna where we live, that we just can't put off. So I totally understand their frustration, but at the end of the day, the projects that we're spending these dollars on are because we've heard loud and clear there is a want and a need for them.
All right, we'll take another short break and come back with some questions from our viewers.